Movie heavily behind, and this is pretty much where Shine wants the situation to be. He is on 3-base layer tag. He has a lot of mutalisks out there. There are a couple Archons on the ground, picking off an Overlord. Third Archon inside the main. Cannon's also on the way, so I'm not quite sure how effective he's going to be, especially if those Archons come back home. But he's still going to continue. Oh, getting a couple of splash hits on his Mutalisk. Got to make sure that doesn't continue to happen. If he loses his entire Mutalisk force, his entire map control is gone. But as long as you keep those Mutalisks strewed around, as long as he gets some hits, as long as he threatens the Probe line, he's going to force those ground forces back home. He's going to force basically Movie to stay inside of his own base while he just continues getting defenses up. There is a probe at the 3 o'clock thinking of taking up that base, but it's very heavy to defend. The task of defending that base is very heavy, very large task, very difficult to do. Trying to explain the same thing a million times. Almost getting inside the main, but not quite managing to. I honestly don't think Shine's going to try to go up to Hive Tech. I think he's going to stay. Has a lot of Mutalisks. He's not really sure how he's been with reinforcing that, but he's flying around all over the place, trying to find an opening here and there. Just picking up, might pick off a cannon. Does pick off a cannon. Going to go for the second cannon. Most likely going to get that picked off. Yes, he does just before the Archon's coming close. Might take one splash hit. No! Flies right on the middle. Archon stand on each side. And Mula's going, what happened? But, Movie just getting some good old Storm get off, picks off a Mutalisk. But overall, Shine's been very on top, very in form with his Mutalisk right now. Doing just a beautiful job of microing them around.
Yeah, Shine is taking the 10 o'clock main right now, so he is getting that forward base build up and running, and that's going to really hurt Movie if he can't take his third base. I don't really see him out there trying to take the third base at the moment. He might be trying to take the 3 o'clock. I see a little beige dot over there, but he could be lying in wait because I see an orange dot over there as well, so Shine might be denying that at the moment. He's going in with his Mutas. I'm not sure if there are any Archons left at home to defend. There might not be anything in here to defend for Movie except a couple of cannons. A couple of cannons are picking at those Mutas while Movie is moving out. Movie is going to try to be aggressive. Okay, there's one Archon inside the main to defend that, and that's probably going to be enough, at least for now. Lurkers! Oh, no Lurkers. No observers out there at all for Movie. Movie has just been committing himself to this ground army, not even worrying about getting observers or anything. But he does have Storm. He can always storm those Lurkers and try to move in like that. Splash damage on those Mutas. And surprisingly, after all that early economic damage that was taken to Movie is actually clawing his way back up in this game. He can't keep fighting against the 4-base Zerg when he's only at 2 bases, though. He's got to, yeah, he is working on getting a third base, and he's got to stop probably another base from coming up. But yeah, he's actually doing a pretty good job, all things considered. Oh, he's trying to fight back all these Zerglings with only Dragoons. He's running back with his entire army, though. The other half of his army going to try to come back here and clean this up. So it looks like Shine's going to have to back off here. Oh, he's trying to back off an awful lot of Archons in. So those Archons should be enough to defend the rest of the troops against the Mutas out in the field. But of course, that's not going to help him defend his bases. He's going to have to throw down a lot of cannons to protect those bases. And he is finally getting that base over at the 3 o'clock, but really he needs to devote to protecting that at the moment. Because if he can keep it at 3 bases versus 4 bases, I think he'll be okay. But if he loses the third base, this would be very, very bad for him, I think.
Still has a fairly decent force turn out, but I just feel that the defensive capabilities of Shine at the moment very tough. He's got sunken colors all over the place, getting Hive Tech, and has a fairly large force. Going to go for this 3 o'clock base. There was a lot of Mutals alongside Zerg. His Movie's going to try to go for a counterattack at his own at Shine's natural expansion. These cannons are going to go down very quickly to these Zerglings. Mutalisk forces a cancel on the Nexus. That is pretty bad. 2 Lurkers lying in wait, no observer. From what I can see, a bunch of Archons, some High Templar, Dragoons, going to pick off a production hatchery. Start, maybe, no, it's actually going to move out. Thought maybe he's going to continue going for the sunken colonies. He has weapons to upgrades on his forces, while Shine only has Carapace 1 on his air forces, nothing on his ground forces. I think I saw an evolution chambers up, though. But that way, at least, Movie has an advantage. He has a stronger army, so if he can keep it alive and engage, force an engagement and do some decent amount of damage, he'll come ahead, so that might be a way for him to claw back, but he lost that 3 o'clock base, still mining off 2, while Shine, meanwhile, has gotten his 4th up, and economically speaking, Shine is very much ahead. He's just going to be able to continue playing defensively, rack up a huge army. Wondering whether he's going to go for anything funky like Big Air or something,
oh, no.
But I'm just expecting 2 High Templar getting picked off, surrounded. Zergling's Movie getting a very obvious facial reaction showing a very obvious reaction to that. Gonna go for the 6 o'clock, cannoning it up. He's going to try to pick a base. He needs to get that base going, but Nidus Canals all over the place. It is going to be a Greater Spire, so we are going to be able to see Guardians alongside a Defiler Man. It's probably going to go Cracklings alongside Guardians and Defilers. So he's going to need the 4th best. Keep that heavy building going. Muto is going at 6 o'clock. Zerg is coming in from the right side. Might force another cancel. All the so good. Oh, bad. Force another cancel. Movie trying to be aggressive with his entire force, but paying off badly for him, is going to go for this Netch expansion, who might do a lot of damage to it. Unless reinforcements coming in right the right side. The lurkers all over the place. I think there are observers in play. There are observers finding play. If he gets that picked off, that does get picked off. Observer goes down, so the lurkers are now going to be fully effective. Sunken colonies still in play. Very beautiful building placement, just delaying those forces constantly. Archons coming in, storms all over the place, trying to kill the lurkers that way, and also with some splash on the evolution chamber. But also having a hive there means it's a very strong location, very hard to break, and I'm not even quite sure, even if Movie does manage to break this, he's still going to find himself losing a huge army, and even if he manages to do a decent amount of economic damage, he's still not economically strong enough, I feel, to get back into this game.
Yeah, the thing about this push from Movie is he had to get it done with this push. He has to push all the way into the main with this push, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. He's been very much whittled down by those lurkers. He finally has an observer in the area, but definitely one Scourge could come in and take care of that in no time. He took down the Greater Spire, so we might not even see any Guardians in this game. But yeah, he's really got to focus on that Hive. Here comes a bunch of lurkers coming in. There are no High Templar left, so no Storm on the nothing that can range the lurkers at this point, except for the few Dragoons. Here, actually, a Guardians morphed, so here comes the Guardians to clean this thing up. So it looks like I don't think Movie got enough damage with that attack. He sacrificed pretty much his entire army to make that break, but I don't think he got enough done. He made Shine basically run his drones, and he took down the Greater Spire, so no more Guardians from this point on. Pretty nice storm from him, actually, to take out all those Zerglings. But now with Guardians out here, he's really got to focus on getting some Corsairs out in the field. If he doesn't have Corsairs, I don't really see a way he's going to be able to deal with these Guardians with all the ledges that are around the bases, especially over at the 3 o'clock where Movie might want to take another base. Although it looks like I think Movie is actually taking the 2 o'clock. He's up there with a bunch, I see a lot of beige dots. Yeah, he is taking that 2 o'clock, going to try to defend that. But really, he's running way behind Shine at the moment. Shine has just got such a massively good economy that he can just go for ultras. He can just tech to whatever he wants basically, and try to tackle everything that Movie has, because now that he has Defiler tech, he can just go in with Dark Swarm, and the cannons aren't even going to be a factor. They're not a factor right here because the Zerglings are taking all of them out, and forces Movie to cancel another Nexus. Wow, things are not looking good for Movie. Although he is coming up here scouting the Guardians, and he's going to try a drop up here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get enough done with just a drop.
I gotta compliment Shine on being absolutely on top of everything. Probe's gonna mill out to the upper right into the range of Guardians, picking him off like it's like a freaking shooting gallery for him right here. They might get picked off quite a few of them. There are some Archon, one Archon down the ground that gets actually picked off quite soon. High Templar coming in, might start storming them, do indeed start storming them, but I just don't think he has enough. Shine has been on top of everything this entire game. Every single time Movie has tried to pick off a base, he's known about it. He's been in the area. He moves Zerglings in, picks that off. He's known whenever Movie tries to go for something, and he's just been playing beautifully. The Nexus does go up at the upper right, and he tries to put up another Nexus at the 3 o'clock, but I still feel he's just not strong enough economically at all to really do any sort of damage. He doesn't have any forces to engage the Guardians, so if Guardians continues to, and he has mostly Zealots on the ground, so he can only fight in a ground army. Has some Zergers in place, so he can try to engage Lurkers, but, even with that, with no auxiliary forces, with no support forces to help those Zealots, you can't really do much. He has weapons 3, but he's going to be engaging Sunken Colonies, Lurkers, a spore colony in play to pick off those observers, and I think this is just the last attack here for him, trying to do at least a little bit of something, but not having picked off that Hive when he went for the full attack. That was quite possibly killing blow. High Templar coming in, and GG for Movie.
Yep, Shine finally showing his mutalisk play. Didn't really get to show a lot of that in the first 2 games, but yes, his mutalisk play is his strong point, and he definitely utilized them very well in this game, and Movie just didn't know it was coming. Didn't have any cannons inside the main at all, but he, surprisingly, I'm surprised that Movie got back after the first wave of mutas, really. He got in with a couple of Archons, defended against that, And Movie still is ahead right now, 2-1, so he does have somewhat of a safety net. But, okay, moving on to the fourth set.
Success! Shibida!
Shibida!
그렇죠. 예.
네?